Here's the autism breakthrough that no one's talking about. So, if food can trigger seizures, inflammation, and behavior changes, why is it so controversial to say that it might actually improve them? Autism is not a flaw, but for many families, daily life is hard, and getting help is even harder. So today we're talking about something bold, a dietary intervention that's showing real potential in children with autism spectrum disorder, but almost no one's talking about it. So welcome to episode 89 of the Obesity Project. My name is Dr. Mark Shankman. I'm an oral and maxillofacial surgeon interested in not only helping your mouth, but heal the rest of your body as well. So let's get right into it. So we're going to talk about item number one, the metabolic problem that no one is testing for. So most people think autism is purely neurological, but more and more research points to a hidden driver, that metabolic dysfunction in the brain has some common findings that include impaired glucose metabolism, mitochondrial dysfunction, chronic low-grade inflammation, and a gut-brain axis disruption. Do any of these things sound familiar to you? This is the same stuff that I talk about when I talk about type 2 diabetes, when I talk about Alzheimer's in terms of mental, when I talk about kidney disease, cancer, all of the things that stem from insulin resistance. So there was a couple studies that I just want to mention real quickly. I'm not going to go through them in depth, but in Frontiers in Psychiatry in 2019, up to 50% of kids with autism showed mitochondrial deficits. So the mitochondria being the underlying factor that's contributing to the mental issues that occur in autism. Also in the Journal of Neuroinflammation in 2021, elevated cytokines, which are inflammatory mediators, and microglial activation, so the lining around nerve cells, were found in postmortem ASD brain tissue in kids with, not necessarily just kids, but in people with autism. So as an analogy, you wouldn't expect a car to run well if the engine is flooded, the wiring's damaged, and it's getting the wrong fuel. So why do we expect behavioral therapy alone to solve autism without addressing the engine? So next, let's talk about what keto or ketogenic diet does to the brain. So the ketogenic diet is not new. It's been around for hundreds of years. It's been used to treat epilepsy in children, actually initially, for over 100 years, especially in kids who don't respond to medication. But it doesn't just stop seizures. It also does several other things, like it improves energy metabolism in neurons, it lowers inflammation, it increases GABA and calms the brain, so that's an inhibitory neurochemical that calms the brain down. It repairs mitochondrial function. So in non-working mitochondria, the ketogenic diet can repair that. And it also supports gut-brain balance. So there was a Journal of Child Neurology study in 2003 that showed that children with ASD on a ketogenic diet showed measurable gains in language, attention, and social interaction. And there was another study in 2021 in the Frontiers in Pediatrics that was a systematic review of many different studies that actually found that ketogenic diets improved core autism symptoms in multiple small trials, especially in children with coexisting epilepsy or behavioral changes. So right about now, you may be asking yourself, well, how in the world does a ketogenic diet influence autism and autistic symptoms? So here's how it works. First, brain fuel is reset. Ketones bypass broken insulin signaling, and ketones are very, very important and useful for the brain. If the brain is having problems processing sugar or glucose, ketones are a very valuable addition for the brain to use as energy. So ketones bypass broken insulin signaling, because they don't require insulin to get into the brain. Also, it provides clean energy directly to the neurons. And then it also restores ATP production in damaged areas of the mitochondria. So restoring ATP production is energy production. ATP, again, for those that are not familiar, it's sort of the currency for our body to utilize energy. So it's sort of like, the money trading hands that actually do the work. So having increased or improved ATP production is going to make big strides in damaged areas of the brains. There's also besides brain fuel reset, there's also mitochondrial support. So keto increases mitochondrial biogenesis, or the creation of new mitochondria. It protects neurons from oxidative stress, and oxidative stress are chemicals that oxidize other cells or chemicals or other proteins that can cause damage and malfunction of those items. In Nutrients 2020, it showed that ketogenic therapy improves energy regulation in neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism and depression and seizures and many other neurodevelopmental issues. So first was brain fuel reset, second, mitochondrial support. Now we're going to talk about neurotransmitter balance. So glutamate, which is often elevated in autism, creates overstimulation. And keto increases GABA, which is, as I mentioned, the inhibitory chemical or neurochemical that calms the brain down, that focuses the energy. And in Epilepsy and Behavior in 2011, it showed that ketogenic diet normalizes GABA and glutamate ratios, minimizing the overstimulation, calming, and focusing that energy so that a kid's behavior is actually better. And then finally, in number 4, what families report. So unfortunately, I wish this were not true, but unfortunately, no, this isn't a magic bullet, right? But here's what parents often notice when their kids or autistic children are on a ketogenic diet. Improved eye contact, more flexible routines, fewer meltdowns, clearer language, better sleep, and calmer energy. Now, how many of you folks out there that have autistic children, or know people that have autistic children, or have some in your family, maybe not direct to you, but maybe somewhere else in your family, a cousin or a relative of some sort? Imagine if we can improve the behaviors simply through diet, without medications, without drugging these kids. But what if we actually use this in combination with other therapies? Or actually, maybe even better, more important, use it when medications fail, as a fail-safe or something to fall back on, so that you're not just feeling helpless, like there's nothing you can possibly do. And in some, just want to try everything that, to help their child live a better life. So this has been episode 89 of the Obesity Project, the autism breakthrough that no one's talking about. So I want you to know that autism isn't something to be fixed, but suffering is something we can reduce, and we should. And if your child's brain is struggling to use fuel properly, then maybe changing the fuel matters. And things like better energy, less inflammation, more calm, more connection. If this therapy has potential, then why aren't we studying it more? Why aren't we looking into this more? Why is the medical profession not getting out there and doing the research? So I'm here to tell you that this may make a profound impact in your child's behavior. And don't forget, here on the Obesity Project, we're cutting through the myths, getting to the root. So stay tuned for the next episode, episode 90, Can a Ketogenic Diet Reverse Alzheimer's? So we'll explore how glucose metabolism fails in Alzheimer's, and why ketones may be the brain's rescue fuel. So thank you so much for watching. I have one great hope is that, maybe I can't reverse autism through diet alone, but maybe we can make a profound impact for you, your kids, your family, anyone that is suffering with this disorder. We just want to make things better. So let's get out there. Let's share the information. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification. Like, share, and comment. Send this to someone that has an autistic child. Send this to someone that you know needs this information because it's critical that they get this. So thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Take care.